Hello, race fans, and welcome to a new episode of Pure Racing Pit Reporters. And we have a very special guest here today from France in Blaye. I hope I pronounced it right. Paul
Perfect.
Geffroy, the 2023 Euro NASCAR 2 champion. And you are already confirmed for the 2024 season as well with RDV competition. But before we talk about championships, before we talk about the future, let's start with the beginnings, because you were there in 2022, out of nowhere, from karting, right into a V8 beast. But we have to start even way, way earlier, because before the season, you told me you were infected by the racing virus when you were a little child. Just tell me about how you were infected by motorsports.
Since I'm 12, I'm doing go-kart. So at the start, it was just to for entertainment because it wasn't competition. But yes, so I've done a race with my dad with rental karting, and it started like that. And we saw that I was liking doing go-kart, but like I never like do other things. And yeah, so we try step by step to go in competition. So I start at 13 years old, and then in 2018 I was French champion in a special category. That name is Sport 4 in France. It's a four-stroke go-kart. And then yeah, we just had to get the level a bit higher each year. And yeah, so with the virus, with COVID-19, yeah, I was supposed to do the Spanish championship of karting, and yeah, so it didn't went well. But yeah, it was the plan. And yeah, and then after the COVID, we had we had a practice session that was booked long time ago, and there I just met Lucas Lasserre that told me that he had a team, and we see each other, and we made the test at the end of this year. And so it was 2019, so end of no 2020. 20 end of 2020, so I tried the NASCAR and I fall in love with this car. It's just amazing, the sound, the size. The car seems really heavy, but it's like a monkey. She can go everywhere she wants. So yeah, it was amazing. And the most beautiful thing for me is the H pattern gearbox that I was just seeing that on YouTube video for Alain Prost or Ayrton Senna on board, and yeah, see myself doing these things that I was looking Senna and Prost did. So it was just an unbelievable feeling for me.
You already told that you were go karting with your dad, and the question is, did you grow up in a racing family? I know that your grandfather did some racing, right?
Yes, my grandfather did. He was like a rally. I don't know the name in English, but it's a rally, but with no guy at your right in the car. But yeah, so my grandfather was doing racing, and my dad wasn't able to do that because of family stories. But so my dad didn't do that, and I think he put me in karting to realize his dream from child because he wanted to be a racing driver. So it started like that, and since the moment I was on the kart, I can tell you that I wasn't doing that for my dad. I was doing that for me because it was amazing.
Also, what you told me before the season is that when you were even younger, video games played a big role to get in motorsports. It was the same for me. I was playing all the stuff in the 90s and also in the 2000s, NASCAR games, IndyCar games, Formula One games, everything on the market. So it was the same for you, right?
Yes, I had a schedule to respect with my mother. I wasn't able to do more than 1 hour of PlayStation per weekend. I wasn't able the week, but the weekend was 1 hour. And I can tell you that the time was waste at Saturday at 10 a.m. I was just going on Toka. The name was Toka, and I was playing on the PlayStation 2. And since I'm 3 years old, I'm playing to racing video games. I was loving, well, yeah, I love that since I'm young. Then I go to Gran Turismo, and then the games that make me really drive a lot on the PlayStation is Formula One games.
Yeah. And at the moment, are you also enjoying real sim racing like iRacing, Assetto Corsa, or Air Factor, something like this?
Yeah, I'm playing a lot at iRacing. I wasn't. I made a little break because it's for the mental preparation. It's always doing racing. It's a bit hard for the all the spirit. So I've made a big break for all the season this year. And yeah, yeah, yesterday I was just on the sim, and this morning I've made a little race. So no, I'm finding the yeah a good. I'm happy to drive on the sim now, and if it's boring for me, I will not do sim.
Yep.
I don't want to force myself to drive, but yeah, I love racing. So when I can't in real life, I go to the sim.
Then let's talk about EuroNASCAR. You joined, like I said, in 2022 for your first season, your rookie season with Speed Towers. Luca Lasser, you already mentioned him. And you're coming straight from karting to EuroNASCAR. Big car, you told it already. V8 power, 400 HP, without any electronic aids, gear shift. How was the transition to go from a little kart to such a big monster of car?
It was really harder than expected, sincerely. Firstly, to be at the left side of a car, it's really strange for a karting driver because I know so for the turns that were right at the right, I was a lot. There was a big margin at the left of my car because I wasn't able to think that I was at the left of the car. So the first test was about that, and yeah, and then you cannot see your old tires. So this changed with karting because with karting with head movement you can see the rear tire, and yeah, it goes so much faster, and there is big brakes. You cannot feel the wind, so it's all that changed, and it yeah it gave me a lot of not confidence. I was not really confident with myself with the car. I was a bit scared. It was the first time that I was in a racing car, so and this is why yeah, the tests are really important before go to to races. And yeah, the club challenge for that is the best thing I ever met. Just to drive without pressure, but just getting used to the environment, to the car. And yeah, so this is yeah, this was really difficult the first test, and then little by little I was more confident, and now yeah, I'm not scared anymore.
Do you think that the driver recruitment program that EuroNASCAR has set up for winter is a good opportunity for drivers like you coming from karting or other categories, young drivers, to join EuroNASCAR?
I sincerely think that it's the best way today to maybe be a racing driver, because the fact is we are a big championship. It's a European championship, and for the cost that made, it's not that huge compared to the other things. It's season in EuroNASCAR is a bit cheaper than Formula 4 in France. So for me, all the drivers that want to be in Formula 1 go to Formula 4, but if they haven't a lot of money behind them, I think it's not the best choice possible. For me, the best choice, and I'm sincerely with you, it's the program, because it's a real racing car. I've tried other cars, and the NASCAR need so much attention when you're behind the wheel. You need so much to be concentrated. Then when you go to another car, the car feels easy. She goes, she turns, and yeah, I've tried the Ligier GSP4, and it's no GS2R. That is like a GT4, and it was that easy for me to get used to the car because it's a lot easier than the NASCAR. That we were at Monza, so the Temple of Speed, and I was looking at. It wasn't. I don't have the English word. I was in slow motion. You know,
Okay, yeah.
when I was driving, the feelings were really strange, but I was in slow motion because the NASCAR needs a lot of concentration to make the car fast. So when you go to another car, it's really easy.
Then you joined the EuroNASCAR 2 Championship in 2022 and it went really well. You had a good learning process. We saw development already there in your first season, first podium, for example, as well. And then you moved to RTV competition in winter to Franck Viola's team. And yeah, breakthrough in 2023. What happened there? Can you tell me the secret?
Then the secret is RDV really put his confidence in me. You know, I was really there to be a driver, and so they were listening to me. So I could say what my feeling were on the car, and they make the changes. And yeah, so firstly at Valencia, it was my first race that I could be on the pace. So I wasn't able to win, and Vladimiros was flying.
Yeah.
So, but each weekend I was a bit faster each weekend because I was getting used to the working method at RDV. And yes, our engineer is just amazing. He's done Formula One in the 19 so and 80. So this was just I was telling something, the car was changed, but it was perfectly. So I was just in a car that was turning, and I was getting more and more confidence. So yeah, that's why I was able to put more and more pace each weekend.
You and Vladimiros, you pulled double duty. You were racing in both EuroNASCAR Pro and EuroNASCAR 2 Series. Was it an advantage to get this additional track time? For example, Alberto Nasca didn't have that track time.
Yeah, of course, it's an advantage, but yeah, and otherwise, I didn't do any practice since I think mid 2022. So that's what the reason I've done pro because we don't have really the money for the practice. And then with Fred that was out, we find a financial access,
Opportunity to,
financial
yeah.
I don't
I know.
yeah, yeah, with Franck Viola. So that's why I was to the pro, and it was making me more kilometers. And yeah, the spirit of that is that I will do 2 years of racing in 1 year. So it was yeah, just the time as that I had in the track was multiplied by 2. So this was just for that, and of course it's a lot more easier to be fast with 2 times more on the track. So yeah, it helped me a lot during the practice to get a good setup for me. And yeah, and then and after, the most important thing that gave me is to race with amazing drivers in pro.
Yeah.
That there is a lot of drivers that can win in pro. So you just drive with a lot of experience at your side, and you just have to do like them, or you will be eaten on the start. So it was just amazing to drive with Ercole, with Girelli, with Compen, with all those guys that have a big name in the motorsport. So yeah, it's really hard to me to say to myself that now I'm one of the drivers that when I was entering EuroNASCAR, I wanted to be like them. You know, to be a European champion, it's amazing, and yeah, it's hard the fun one.
Ah, no problem, no problem.
Yeah, so yeah, for all that, to drive with amazing driver is the best thing.
Then in Italy, your first win. It was Italy, right?
Yes.
Yes, I can remember because I have the good role, the good position in always welcoming the drivers when they enter a victory lane because I place the car and I keep you inside the car until the cameramen are there, photographers are there, teams are there.
Yes.
And I always in a good position to congratulate the drivers. And I was looking at you and your face and you were smiling and I only saw your eyes in the below the helmet, you know, in the helmet. And it was a tough race, to be honest. You know, not so many green flag laps, a lot of crashes, but still, win is a win. Was it the breakthrough to get to victory lane to start hunting this championship?
You know, all the guys that were in motor sports since a long time always tell me when you win your first race, after you will win a lot of race. It's just hard to do this first step to get the win, and after it's more easier. And I don't know if it done that to me because it wasn't for me a real win. It was just who've done the best start and who took the turn one with more speed. But I really feel that if there wasn't a safety car, I was able to win because I was my feeling with the car was just amazing. And each time we were green, I was getting space from Alberto, that was P2. But yeah, and after at most I didn't. I've done two P2 in Euronascar 2, but I win in Pro. And yeah, so I took confidence, and then at Germany I took a win in Pro and in Euronascar 2. So yeah, it was getting better.
Yeah, definitely. It was getting better. When did you first think about, man, I can win this championship?
Sincerely, after Germany.
Okay.
Not before, but after Germany, I was really confident that I was thinking that I was the best place possible to win the championship. And compared to my performance that were going up each weekend, I knew that at Zolder it will be a good weekend. And if you look at just the pace, I get penalized in the first race, but I won the first race. I won the race 2 in Euronascar 2. So we were really, really, really fast. The car was just amazing. We've done an amazing job in practice. And yeah, but sincerely, I'm not a driver that stress a lot. But this weekend was a tough one. To play a European Championship, it was the first time that I was playing a championship, even in karting. I don't really win a lot of championship. But there it was, yeah, a bit tough. The sleeping was hard, everything. A little problem was keeping my mind in, and it was a bit difficult to get over that. But we really do a good job to just focus on the good things, do things that they were planning to do, and yeah, go flat out in the race.
You said something very interesting that it's getting tougher and tougher. How is it to cope the pressure? Because I can imagine when you travel to the track, you know what's on the table, what the stakes are. How is it when you're at home knowing that, okay, next week there's going to be the championship race, I can be the champion? Does the pressure really do something to you?
I'm not really a driver that thinks before the race that I could do a championship. So I really said that to myself Friday night after the practice, when it was the qualification the tomorrow morning. And yeah, so it's a bit harder to get calm. You think a lot. You think, but if I miss my start, or if I do a mistake, or and if I crash the car. So you think about all that, but this is bad things to have in the mind. So yeah, the best thing is to laugh a bit with your team, to do some jokes, and yeah, just pass to another things. And yeah, and that's why RDV, it's for me, it's yeah, the best team I met, because you know, before my start, before the qualification of Pro, I was laughing. I have tear of laugh before to go to the qualification, because my team manager was saying jokes and he wasn't stopping to say that. So I was losing too much, and yeah, I was tear of jokes before going, and we got the Pro with 1 second. So I was just free. I was feeling free.
Let's talk about emotions. You are the Euro NASCAR 2 champion. You climbed out of the car in victory lane, on top of the car. You got the big trophy. Tell me, how is it? Does it feel like to be a European NASCAR champion with all these emotions?
Yeah, firstly, the last lap was really tough. All the you want to explode from happiness, but you can't because you have a lap to do. And yeah, so you calm down, just brake slowly, don't do mistakes. And yeah, I think that we all see that I was really happy on the finish line. I was moving the car a lot, and then for the donuts, yeah, it was an amazing feeling. And just when you put out the helmet, you go in the car, you see all the fans all the fans that are looking to you, and yeah, this is an amazing feeling. This is the first time I have a feeling like that, and yeah, it's amazing.
Was it easy to do the burnouts, the donuts?
Yeah, with with slicks on the and rain, there is not a lot of grip, so it's easy to make the car spin. So even when didn't want it to spin, it was spinning. So it was easy.
Okay, perfect. We have to talk about one thing because there were also some people saying, okay, you hit Alberto Nasca, you got penalized in the first race. I looked at the footage, I saw it with the onboard stuff we had. We also put it on YouTube so everybody can make his own opinion, okay? First of all, this. But also some starting infringements. You got some penalties, but you're 19 years old, and the Euro NASCAR 2 is for young drivers. So there were some, let's say, mistakes, of course. But what did you learn from that?
And sincerely, Nazca made a mistake from at the last turn. So I was at his outside from T1, and I break late. He break even later, and yeah, I let him a lot of space at the inside, and he just pushed me on the gravel. And then at the last turn, I break on the inside, and for me, I saw the video, so I'm clear with that. He didn't let me the place for one car, so even with a little touch with the curb, we touch. So yeah, I think that he didn't let me the place because the turn before I let him a lot of space. But yeah, I have to learn that I could maybe wait before this attack. I could maybe just stay more at his back. But yeah, for me, I look at the camera and it wasn't that huge. Okay, we have a contact, but if you look at T1, I let him the place for two cars to not get a crash, and he pushed me on the gravel. And then I go to the inside, and he don't let me the place. So he played with the fire, and I could lose, but he's the one who lost a lot, and yeah, I get penalized. And yeah, so for the future, I will be more calm and do not play everything for two turns.
But we have also to say that motorsports is a decision in split seconds, so it's really, really hard to make the right decisions all the time, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's easy to say to a driver, yeah, you could do that, you could do that. But the thing is, in the car, it's more than 60 degrees. We are driving for like, yeah, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. So the shape start to, the body start to really be tired. So it's hard to good decision at this moment of the race. So, but we are racing driver. We have to do good decisions. So this is part of the work. And yeah, we have to improve, of course. But it's not easy. It's even when I look at my onboard, I want to say myself, but why did I don't do that? Why did I don't do that? You know, it's when you're in the car, you don't have the visibility of the onboard camera, and so yeah, so it's really hard.
Yeah, I can imagine that. 2024, you're confirmed really, really early with RDV competition to go to EuroNASCAR Pro full time next season. So the EuroNASCAR 2 champion is going to the Elite Championship of the NASCAR Wheel and Euro Series. You've won there already. So do we consider you already a championship contender, or do you look more to the junior trophy?
You can consider myself to championship contender if you want, but I will not say that to myself for sure. I would just say be the best driver, be fast, don't do mistake. And we also this season that to be fast in the first races doesn't tell anything about who will be the champion. We have to be there at all the races. If there is not a win, this is not it's not so bad, but we have to be in the top five all the races, top five, top
Yeah.
five, top five, top five, and then at the final you have to win. So this is just the proof that we just have to be consistent and to not do mistakes. And I think that to say to ourselves that we can be a champion, it's not the better thing because to have too much confidence before a race is never good.
We're back to oval racing. What do you think about that? Are you looking forward to Venray?
Yeah, it will be my first oval racing. So yeah, I think I know that RDV had a good pace in oval, so we will see. But I have to learn. It will be my first time, so uh, I want to be there to learn, but I don't know where I will be.
I can give you a little hint. There are so many short tracks on iRacing you can practice on. Just look for a half-mile short track with about 25 degrees banking. So you're kind of close to Venray. It's like a Bristol-like racetrack, a little bit less banking, but there are a lot of short tracks in the US very, very similar to it. All right.
Perfect.
I have just one thing to do now in this interview. Can you say something to your French fans in French?
Ah, mais ok. Merci beaucoup à tous pour votre soutien. Ça a été incroyable toute l'année de voir vos messages, etc. Et ouais, merci beaucoup à tous. L'année prochaine, on va jouer devant et voilà, on va faire une belle saison.
Merci beaucoup. I don't know what you said. I have to let it check before I publish this video, but I don't think there was something bad. All right. Thank you so much, Paul Giffreau, our Euro NASCAR 2 champion in 2023. I'm really looking forward to see you back in Valencia in 2024. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
All right. Goodbye.